We've talked about peace up there and how we can achieve that. Let's talk about peace in here. I think a lot of times, as many of you have in here received Jesus Christ by faith, you've done what I talked about, you've made peace up there. So many times we live our lives, even though we've established the peace with God, we live our lives defeated, discouraged, despondent because of the stuff of this world. When we found Jesus Christ, He didn't vacuum us up into heaven and take us out of this world, did He? We're all still here, right? And we still have to, wrestle with sinful issues in ourselves. And then we have to wrestle with the sin of the world outside of us. And we can feel helpless in this scene. And it can discourage us, bring about conflict inside of us, rob us of our peace. Well, let's talk about what causes personal conflict in us and robs us of peace. The first thing is uncontrollable circumstances. Write that down. We come to a situation in life that we can't control. It's surprising how much of life is that way. Have you noticed? I mean, we like to think that we're really in control, but we're really not. If you're sitting here this morning and you're going through treatments for cancer like some of my friends are, you didn't dial that one up on the calendar. That one just kind of happens, doesn't it? Other illnesses and ailments, accidents, these aren't things that we control. Death itself. We all know that our days are numbered, right? I don't mean to be morose on Christmas, but our clock is ticking backwards. Some of us are closer than others. Look around. But death is one of those things that we can't control. How about employment? I read in the paper yesterday we're up to 12.3%. Woohoo! 161,000 people in Hillsborough County are without work right now. That's just what we have recorded. If you're sitting here this morning and you are without your job, something you planned, circled the date on that one and said, hey, I'm going to not work anymore after that. No, you didn't plan it. It was a circumstance that was beyond your control. I mean, life just happens that way, doesn't it? And isn't it remarkable that these circumstances that are beyond our control create more circumstances that are beyond our control? You get laid off and all of a sudden foreclosure's in the picture. And then, the foreclosure causes all this stress in your relationships, in your marriages, and and it seems like it can just domino down, right? There's uncontrollable circumstances that impact every one of our lives. And it can rob us of our peace. There's unmanageable people. Write that down. Are you sitting next to an unmanageable person right now? Some of you are looking. Yeah, just so you know, all of you are. I mean, things might be fine right now. You might be sitting there next to your gal and being like, "Oh, babe, you're not. Oh, she will be. Just like you will be. Because when we got into marriage, it didn't come with a remote control, right? Like a like a toy car that we could be like, okay, in this argument, you're going to go this way, and you're going to do these things, and you're going to see it. No, it doesn't happen that way. People outside, we can't change them. I say that all the time in my counseling. People come in and he did this and he did that and he's this way, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. He sounds like a horrible person. Is there anything that you can do about that? No. And we talk about the things that we can change, which are the things in ourselves. But people, people are unmanageable. They can be unloving spouses, rebellious children, an inflexible coworker, a critical friend. I mean, we can't control how people react to us. And that can be so frustrating. Is there someone in your life that you feel like is just there to make your life miserable? Yeah. Most of us have someone like that. We feel like, hey, God, seriously, this guy was a mistake. Why is he here? Because he's just making a mess of my life. Circumstances can be uncontrollable. People can be unmanageable. And then there's unexplainable problems. This, to me, if you want to kind of understand the difference between this and uncontrollable circumstances, is that we can get in ruts. Has anybody had like a bad run? Just things went bad for a long time. I blogged about this a little while ago, but I sat at my desk in my office, and I'm a former basketball player. I played in college. I'm a little past where I was, but I could throw a ball through a hoop. I could throw a piece of waste, paper into a trash can. I can do this. But I stood from my desk, my little table, to where the can set up with a nice little backboard next to this, wall, and I threw paper wad after paper wad, 6 or 7 in a row, and missed every one of them. And it got comical, like after the 4th one, but then after the 6th one, it was just depressing. I've lost my mojo. I couldn't, I couldn't, and that's how life can feel sometimes. Everything I touch turns to dust. I've got reverse King Midas disease. And all of these things, the uncontrollable circumstances, the unmanageable people, the unexplainable problems, they can just rob us of our joy and take our peace from us. We come up against these things, don't we? And we try all of the human methods that we know to try. The first thing that we'll do when uncontrollable circumstances, unmanageable people, all these things come into our lives, is that we'll try harder. Anybody ever heard that one from your parents? Hey, you just got to roll up your sleeves. You just got to get in there. You just got to work harder. Now listen, this is not a sermon about how you don't work hard in life. I believe all of us should be like the ant, as it says in Proverbs 6, and be industrious and passionate about life. Don't hear me say that I don't think you should try in life. Everybody got that caveat there? But a lot of times, there's just things in life that no matter how much you try, it's not going to change it. Like if I, went with my friend Rob, who I work out with, and we stacked up 500 pounds on a bench press bar, I'm sorry. If he sets that bar down on my chest, it's staying there. I'm not going to be able to push that thing up. Now, 400 pounds, sure. You laugh. That's funny. That's good. No, there's certain weights that I know I could make, but I know how much I can't lift. In fact, I'm reminded often when I'm, working out with them. Oh, that's too much. Let's get that off my throat. Yeah. And listen, there's no amount of trying in those situations. If you've got 500 pounds on your chest, most of us in here aren't going to budget. And trying harder is not going to make a difference. I can't tell you how many times I've done like work projects in my house that I knew if I'm smart enough, I'm educated, master's degree and all this stuff, I'm good enough to do this. I'm not. And I'll try harder. I'll use tools that for purposes they were never meant for. You know what I'm saying? I'm like the guy, I think I can figure this out. If I try hard enough, I'll park the car over here and put a 2x4 here. Whatever, and I'm creating all these like Wile E. Coyote, machines to try to get, but it's just, all I'm doing, and almost always, I just make things worse. I take like 5 or 6 trips to Lowe's. Now I not only have to fix what was broken in the first place, now I have to fix all the things that I've broken, trying to fix the thing that was broken. You know what I'm talking about? The smart thing would have been just to call someone who knew. I was a new homeowner, and I had a water softener in the basement of my first house. And we had really bad city water, just really thick, kind of smelled bad and all that stuff. And so this water softener was pretty important for us to have a comfortable, water situation. So I went down there. I read all the bags on the water softener pellets. I read everything that I could on my water softener, and I'd done everything. But the thing still wouldn't soften the water. So I ripped out the electronics in it, and I'm like faking like I know what the wires actually do, right? And then finally, I'm calling Stan. Stan was this older guy in my church. He was a good friend of mine, kind of Uncle Stan type guy. And I said, Stan, come on over. Stan comes over to my house, and he walks downstairs with me. And I'm like, Stan, I've been working on this water softener for a long time, man. I just can't make it work. It won't do what it's supposed to do. And Stan had like Coke bottle glasses, and he just kind of bent down. He looked at it, and I saw his eyes, and his eyes started to follow a wire that I hadn't noticed before. And he starts following the wire, and he looks out behind the water softener, and he goes around here, and he kind of looks around and looks around. And then on this post inside the closet where the water softener was an outlet with the cord to the water softener hanging over the top of the outlet, and he took the plug and plugged it in. I thought some really nasty words right there. See, that wasn't in me. I wasn't I could try, but I didn't have in me what it would take to fix my problems. So trying harder isn't always necessarily a solution to these unmanageable and uncontrollable things. Some of us, though, we just abdicate altogether. We say, I'm not going to try at all. I'm just going to, when it's Carpe Diem, seize the day. My idea of Carpe Diem is to leave my pajamas on and eat a whole box of Raisin Bran in front of movies that I've wanted to see for a long time.